Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we are talking about how apparently the Nintendo ninjas, Nintendo's lawyers, are striking down some of these Switch 2 leaks, and how there could be some really big implications here. One of those implications being that the Switch 2 leaks that have been taken down or striked by Nintendo's ninjas are likely true. But also, there were things said surrounding the sources of these leaks that could have implications for the reveal of the console, which is also kind of a pretty big deal. And I also want to have a little bit of discussion on which rumors or leaks we should trust versus which ones we should not. And so that's what we're getting into today. But before going forward, let me take this moment to ask that if you do enjoy my content, to please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and if you're unsure, watch through this video and then decide. So Nintendo's lawyers apparently have gone at Genki, an accessory maker that was at CES showing off Nintendo Switch 2 accessories. And we talked about these accessories throughout the week, and what we got to see is arguably the best look at Nintendo Switch 2 by far. These aren't CAD renders, these aren't 3D prints. What we've seen is actual footage of renders that are really realistic that look like a final version of the console with extra details we had not seen before. Not just the color accents that were apparently rumored by Next Handheld, not just the dock that was the most full view we had seen yet, even more so than some of the leaked pictures that came out from Next Handheld or even Laura Kate Dale, but also we got a closer look at some special features of the Joy-Cons. For example, how there's a pin that comes out when you press that disengage button to take off the controllers that we believe to be connecting magnetically. But there's also a better look at this optical sensor with a red blinking light, supporting the idea that these Joy-Cons can be used like a mouse when you have a table surface. Not to mention we have really good looks at the shoulder buttons, the triggers, and they look fantastic, I might add. Point is, this is a fantastic look at the console, and it had people wondering if these are really a final look at the Switch 2, or almost a close to perfect final look at the Switch 2, how would Nintendo respond? Especially because Genki even apparently suggested that they had gone the actual Switch 2 off the black market. Well, there were developments to this story throughout the week. Nintendo had commented that this information was not official, which was already interesting wording because it was not denied, it was simply said to be not official. And of course it isn't, because it's not coming from Nintendo, but from Genki, who isn't even partnered with Nintendo, as they've said multiple times throughout this situation to sort of defend themselves and say how they can get away with this. But then interestingly, shortly after this, Genki was no longer at the booth. They were gone. And then a statement came out from Genki that their depictions of the Switch 2 that they've used with their accessories is based off the leaks, like the renders and such we've been talking about over the last few months. But that didn't quite add up, because there were details we saw from the Genki leaks that had not been seen before, like the pin and the optical sensor. And so today we've gotten word that Nintendo's lawyers actually approached Genki, and they even tried to defend themselves saying that they were not contracted with them, but Nintendo's lawyers went at them here. And so there's some huge implications here. Nintendo's actual lawyers got involved. And so it further supports the implication we got from when they said that this is not official. The implication being that it's not denied, so it is true, it's just not coming from an official source. Basically, what we've seen from Genki is very likely to be legitimate. That's the implication here, and that alone is huge. Before we got word of these lawyers getting involved from Nintendo, you maybe could have interpreted that Genki was just lying for clout or to get publicity. But with Nintendo's lawyers involved now, that's probably not what's going on. But there's something else to take away from this, because there was footage that was being spoken in French, but some people had interpreted that the Switch 2 reveal is just a few days away. And this is interesting, because we did talk about yesterday how Nintendo might have been teasing something Switch 2 related next week. Now, this does not confirm that there is a reveal next week I'm not 100% thinking there is a reveal next week. We should be cautious about this information. That tease from Nintendo is up for interpretation. And while there was that conversation at the Genki booth about the Switch 2 reveal happening in a few days, and yes, Nintendo's lawyers got involved because the Switch 2 leaks apparently were very real, that doesn't mean this information is 100% telling us that the reveal is next week. So I am trying to caution you all to not start assuming 100% that this is happening. However, I think it's still worth acknowledging it as a possibility. Many people might doubt it because Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is coming out next week. That does seem somewhat reasonable. But you know, something else to take away from these leaks is that if we do have basically a final model we're going around, and then we also have all these other leaks going on around, like with different actual games for the Switch 2 being listed at different retailers, then it does seem like a reveal is really soon. I've already been on the record, I am on Team January, but I also want to remind everyone, this isn't the first time we thought we were about to get a reveal. This time it seems more real than ever before with all these substantial leaks and Nintendo's legal team getting involved, so that fills me with more confidence that we are close. But I'm just saying, let's try to keep a level head here and consider all of the possibilities. And so, with that all said, there is this other rumor that's been going around that has caused a little bit of a stir that I would like to talk about. And just so we're clear, I do not believe this rumor, and I don't really think anyone should. But it still led to a great deal of conversation. So as we see here, as being shared by Senor Linguica, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm not sure. Here, rumor, Nintendo Switch 2. The leaker responsible for leaking the date of the PS5 Pro and Nintendo Alarm, I assume, published what would be the announcement date of the Nintendo Switch 2. The console was to be revealed on January 17th, with a launch on March 3rd. Along with this, the long-awaited Mario Kart 9, Red Dead Redemption 2 I assume, and a trailer for a new 3D Mario. Retail price would be $400 in Canada. So, that's the initial post. There's several things about this that don't really make any sense. The part about Mario Kart 9, that's believable. Red Dead Redemption 2, I think that's actually pretty likely to be available on Switch 2 very early on. A trailer for 3D Mario also makes a lot of sense to see in the reveal. Those parts are not crazy. It's everything else that is. The retail price being $400 in Canada, that's the equivalent of less than $300 in the United States, and there's no way that's happening. The Switch OLED is $350 in the United States, and here they're suggesting that the Switch 2 would be less than $300, less than $290. That's not happening. That's not what's going to happen. If anything, the Switch 2 is going to be $400 in the United States, and that's going to be a win. Let's also remind ourselves that inflation has been taking place. $400 USD is about the price Switch costed back then when accounting for inflation, even though it was $300 back then. But the craziness goes beyond that, because talking about a reveal on the 17th does not make sense. Why? The 17th is a Friday. There isn't really much history of Nintendo doing big reveals on Fridays. On Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, sure. But Friday? That's unlikely, especially literally the day after the release for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Listen, I think it's possible the Switch 2 reveal could happen in the beginning of the week that Donkey Kong is coming out, a few days removed. But literally the day after, the day that people would be playing the game as the weekend starts, that doesn't make really any sense, and again, there is no history of big reveals like this happening on Fridays. But then also, the notion of the console coming out on March 3rd is ridiculous for two different reasons. One, March 3rd is a Monday. Nintendo releases things on Thursdays. In the past, they did it on Fridays. To suggest they would then change things again for Monday, there is no history of that. So, this is also highly unbelievable. And then, on top of that, by saying March 3rd, they're also suggesting less than a 2-month turnaround from reveal to release. That's also insane. There are some people who have suggested maybe a 2-month turnaround, which I already think is insane. But 3 months, 3.5 months, I might be willing to consider that as a possibility. More likely, I think we're looking at 4 to 4.5. So when you just look at this rumor, it does not make sense for several reasons. There are several extraordinary claims, each one requiring extraordinary evidence to believe it. In other words, this is highly unbelievable, even if supposedly they've gotten some things right in the past. And for the record, both the PS5 Pro and the Nintendo Alarmo were highly predictable. We knew a PS5 Pro was coming for a very long time. We had seen the filings for the Alarmo technology. We talked about it on the channel multiple times before reveal, so these wouldn't be crazy predictions. In other words, we shouldn't trust this rumor. And actually, it looks like we got an update on this rumor. To save you people from disappointment, the leaker, with the quotes, who said the 17th will be reveal, and the same guy who said October last time, just got banned from the GTA 6 forums and admitted he made everything up. Moisty Charlie 6. Look, the truth is I made everything up, man. And so, he's done, he's gone, let's not trust this, it does not make sense. Trying to sift through which rumors or leaks to trust is not easy, especially because I don't think there's any source for any rumors or leaks out there, ever, that has been 100% accurate. There are those who are more accurate than others, and there are those that are just completely full of it, and then there's everything in between. And so ultimately, I think going to all of this, you have to practice some level of caution and not 100% assume really anything. Of course, there are times we can be more confident than others, but that's why I think you have to have discussions on it, think critically about it, and of course, have fun with it, because we're talking about video game rumors, theories, leaks. This stuff is for fun, it's not that serious. But what do you all make of this situation and Nintendo's ninjas getting involved with the Genki leak? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.